After Nkosi's testimony, I knew this guy would be back here. This is Revo Spies. He is now a Tshwane Deputy Chief of Police, Asset Protection and Security Services. He sits in the operational center of the TMPD. Oh yeah, he left the frying pan at Ekurhuleni and went straight into the oven at Tshwane. His testimony has two separate tenders, the 22-company ad hoc guarding tender and the 8-company land evasion tender. So we'll start with the first tender, the 22-company guarding tender. The core function of this tender is physical security of city sites. The tender originally was advertised in 2016. The process became contested. Bidders went to court 2 times. Evaluation identified 22 successful bidders. The city attempted to cancel due to irregularities, but the court ultimately forced the city to award the tender to the 22 companies. So this means the BAC, right here on the BAC, decision effectively was overridden by a court order. So the contract of this tender started in March 2022. So from 2016 all the way to March 2022, 3-year term to the end of February 2025. New bidding process was started, but it dragged on until it was cancelled at the BAC stage. This stage seems to be problematic. The reasons given was that the pricing schedule was ambiguous, and the 6 companies that were at this stage, at the BAC stage, were missing some documents, which means they were all irregular. So meanwhile, while they are trying to sort out the new tender, the 22-company tender was extended 3 months at a time. Up to today, this expired tender is still being extended 3 months at a time. I personally think that there is politics involved here. We are yet to hear more about this. Moving on, out of the 22 companies, the Madlanga Commission is only interested in these 3 because they fit into the terms of reference. And these are the 3 companies that have been found in Nkosi's chat, WhatsApp chats. So for that reason, they sit within the Commission's focus zone. This doesn't necessarily mean the rest of the other companies, everything is kosher. But for now, we will only focus on the 3. Gubi's solutions is deployed across all the Tshwane regions, receives the majority of the ad hoc assignments, which Commissioner Spies says is a clear pattern of favoritism. From January to February of 2025, 59 million had been paid to Gubis. An additional 34 million from May to June 2025 was also paid, bringing us to a total of 91 million. The TMPD requested an additional budget of 91 million upliftment because the ad hoc services approved by other departments were not transferred to the TMPD. The result is that the budget deficit was driven by offset contract spending. Problem. Still on this list, Triotic Services and Mohalahadi Security was paid 2.8 million between January and February. So you can see the contrast there. So the key takeaway before we pack this is a 22 company security panel functioned in practice as a concentrated allocation system where ad hoc spending, not the base contract, drove the money flow and increased the risk. We will park this tender and we're moving on to the second tender. Now, the second tender is about the land invasion tender. This tender is monitoring and prevention of illegal land and building occupation and demolition and removal of illegal erected structures around the city of Tshwane. This tender was advertised in August 2024, closed in October 2024, later went through evaluation property and was ultimately approved on 7 October 2025. Ngapesha was one of the 8 companies awarded, and the tender started in November 2025. These are the 8 companies awarded this tender. Out of all these 8 companies, these 3 companies are of interest to the Commission because they fit into the terms of reference and they appear in Nkosi WhatsApp chats. That's El Shaddai, Guppies is in there as well, and Ngapesha, that is owned by Nkosi's brother. The Commission made sure they tell us the full names of the people that sit in these 3 different bidding stages. So in the BSC, we have this is where the tender is designed, the rules, the scope, and the criteria, and these are the names. In the BEC, this is where the tender, the bidders are evaluated and scored, and these are the names. And then in the BAC, the final decision makers who approved the 8 companies on October 7, 2025, these are the names. And here you need to pay attention to one name, Gareth Mnisi, this guy. In Nkosi's WhatsApp chats, he is referred to as Jerry Kazi. The Commission's core tension is that although the tender closed on October 2024, later chats still refer to outstanding documents. This sticky note here. For Ngapesha, while Sergeant Fanny Nkosi maintains the company was compliant as submission, but I don't know why this sticky note is floating in his WhatsApp messages, raising the question of whether post-deadline activity was routine administration or late intervention. This is reinforced by evidence of an apparent informal channel where compliance issues were discussed outside the formal structures, with information flowing from Ngapesha, Nkosi's brother Begi, to Nkosi, then to General Dlamini, this guy who is the deputy chief as well, and potentially influencing the CFO, Jerry Kazi, Gareth Smith Nisi, who is also the chairperson of the BAC. I hope you guys are following. You're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Within this framework, Ngapeshiya sits at the center of the dispute. Nkosi acts as the relay, Dlamini as the senior influence node, and Nisi as the institutional decision gate. While the tender followed the full process, this full process here, the Commission is probing whether informal pressure operated alongside it, ultimately asking whether Ngapeshiya's award resulted from compliance or influence, especially coming from Nkosi. This question is sharpened by the financial outcome. Between November 2025 and January 2026, the tender was active. Over 10.7 million rands had been paid, and Ngapeshiya alone had 19% of the share, which makes up to 2.03 million. 2 million, guys. No wonder Nkosi has over 400 rands in his safe at home. But anyway, let me stay focused. This turns the issue from procedural irregularity into potential material benefit. Enough of my rambling. The commission is on break. Just please, if you need to hear these updates, please follow me.